Welcome to the third and final Retaliator raid. Today I want to run through the level 104 target, but first I want to talk about my build setup briefly and why evade is key. Hey everyone, Derpy here, and welcome back to another Battle Pirates video. I will show my full build at the end of the video as well as the damage, as I always do, but I want to talk about the build setup briefly because that is an important note for driving. Although of course if you have other upgrade levels or other different builds, that doesn't mean that the point of this video and the path I'll show you is useless, far from it. Now what you'll notice here as I start moving my fleet together is that one ship number 5, comes out ahead of everyone else, and that is because it has higher combat speed and it also has about 95% evade. This means that it's going to always be in front if I'm moving towards something, which means as long as I'm moving towards the 2 radioactive turrets right here, they're going to fire at the closest ship because there's no king killer in this target, and therefore all the damage from those 2 is going to go to the ship that has the highest evade. And meanwhile, the rest of the ships can sit behind and basically avoid all the damage because they're very, very close to it with no extra fancy driving. Now what I want to do is go ahead and move against these turret clusters, which are either going to be one that is safe to stop at, like this first one, or like the third one over here, is not safe to stop at because of the Drac Coax turret right here. The Drac Coax turrets are the one with no minimum range, and they're a very, very high threat in this target. Unfortunately, in the 104, they don't actually show the range arc on them, even though they do in the 105 and the other +1 targets from the last raid. Let's go ahead and get started with some of the target. Now again, for this first cluster, all you want to do is move towards him and then stop after all the shells from the ballista have landed, and once those have landed right there, I can stop. All the damage is going to ship number 5, which is the closest. Second turret cluster is also a safe one. We do have the glacial, but I'm not too worried about that guy because I'm just not in range of him. Now the third turret cluster here, which is a dangerous one because it has a Drac Coax right there. So what I need to do is stay moving on this one and target the Drac Coax first so that he dies before anything else. With the short-range moving turrets, you can outrange these ones because they're short-range, and you can even move away from them if you want to. I did take a tiny bit of damage there I probably shouldn't have. Let's go ahead and make sure we stick away from the ballista I'm hovering over right now, instead head towards the one on the right side, which we also do have one shot right there from the radioactive to be aware of, and that's that turret cluster taken down. Now again, we do have another dangerous one right here. I'm going to cut off to the left side of your screen a little bit here because I don't want to get in range of anyone else, but I will try and stay moving the entire time. Unfortunately, the radioactive turret did not go down, so I'm going to have to come back for another pass. I don't like moving away from them because when I'm moving away from them, my tank ship is no longer the closest, which is pretty unfortunate. Now again, here's a short-range turret. If I stay moving away this time, I shouldn't have any issues. That will go down. And now we have a little bit of a tricky spot because there are 1, 2, 3 turret clusters that are all going to pretty much shoot at me at the same time. I'm going to take damage from the ones on the left, but I'm not actually going to shoot them, which is not ideal, so the path is not, let's say, 100% optimized here. But I'm going to shoot at the turret cluster in the center, duck off to the left. Unfortunately, I went into the range of the radioactive guy, which is not ideal, and then duck off to the right side. Now I'm going to click on the turrets that are going to do damage to me, which is the Drac Coax, that's the highest threat ones there, and then the radioactive ones as well. I will note that I do have enough damage because of my upgrades. Not all my ships are at cap yet, but 4 of them are, and I do not have all of the legendary weapons, but I do have mostly epic and legendary weapons. I am taking some damage from these, which is, I was going to say I have enough damage and firepower that I'm taking down these turret clusters without necessarily stopping or having a second volley from my weapons, which is good for me, but is not always going to be the case for everyone because you just might have a slightly lower firepower. Now, target's almost done here. Stay out of range of the glacial on that last one or it will catch you. You did see a shockwave. That means that something hit something that was not number 5. So I could have driven a little bit more closely or more aggressively with number 5 slightly further out ahead. But overall, that's a pretty decent run. I think it was my 3rd or 4th one on this target. Wanted to get a few hits in so you could really get a good idea of the of the target layout, and I made sure I explain everything well. In terms of the repair time, it is 26% resisted taken on ballistic, and then the radioactive is 9%, so most of the damage was ballistic here, which is from the track coax and a few other things there. It's not a neat even split on this one. Radioactive should generally be pretty low. If you don't get a shockwave, it will be even lower than this. Repair time on this is 11 minutes. As you did see on the thumbnail, my first hit on this was 9 minutes. I've hit this 3 times right here. Damage on ship 1 is very likely below a minute. Number 5 here might be close to above 5 minutes here, because all the damage is going to this one from radioactive, at least the non-shockwave, because this has the higher combat speed. It also has higher evade. You can see the evade is at 94.2% before the alliance bonus, and then this one is at cap 1. So this is the important ship to upgrade. Put all your legendary stuff on this one first. Get this guy upgraded as far as possible. And then the second most important one is the flag, because the cap benefits only apply to the other ships which do have a cap upgrade. So just want to make sure you're aware of that. I did mention something about that a little bit incorrectly in a previous video. And then ship 2, 3, and 4 are the same damage setup. One of them is still at X1, which is pretty cool that I've gotten them up this far, although there are some other tokens in the raid that I can use to get this guy up to cap even further if I want to. As you can see, this took probably the second highest amount of damage, which makes sense because it doesn't have a high upgrade level. In any case, there is the target. If you do have any questions on this, let me know by leaving a comment below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. I'm likely going to auto this for basically every other time I hit it, but I will have a video coming out on the 105, as well as bone saw videos for that, which my ship is at E10, and we'll be taking a look at the 1204 and 1205 targets. In general, this is not too bad of a target. I'm likely going to auto this one, like I said, pretty much every single time after this video, but it's nice to know that I can drive it for pretty good results. The other thing I want to make you aware of is that there is a TLC available, the Harlock's Vanguard TLC, which you do end up using Retaliators for in the last prize pack, but this could be a nice chunk of points if you are a new or returning player. And of course, now that we do have the new ship coming out here, that's a massive UAV, the Worldeater, start building this one. Just build blanks with tokens until the XP weekend, and the build will be a little crazy with this one based on having to use it in Strike 1 as well as the next raid, which the timing is a little weird. But make sure you do get this guy going in January. You likely did receive some tokens to help you along with this upgrade, so just keep that in mind here. But don't spend any more shipyard time on Retaliators. Spend all your shipyard time going forward on the Worldeater. With that said, I want to give a huge thank you to the channel members whose names appear on the end screen now. They're helping make videos like this one possible. Until next time, this is Derpy, signing out, helping you be a better pirate.